Hello and welcome to this session on EBSCO eBooks. My name is Sood Bhimaf and I'm one of the senior trainers at EBSCO. I have been with EBSCO, as you can see, for quite a while. I live in London, and pre-pandemic time, I travelled not only across the UK, but the Middle East for EBSCO. By the conclusion of this session, we would have conducted some basic and advanced searching to find EBSCO ebooks. We will navigate through the ebooks using the ebook viewer. We will download a chapter of an ebook, and we will also download an entire ebook. And finally, we will look at where we can find additional information on EBSCO ebooks. So 5 key features we will focus on, broken down into searching, browsing, online and offline views, as well as EBSCO Connect, which is our support site. Now, just a few slides before we go into a live demonstration. With EPUB becoming the ebook format of choice, our EBSCO ebooks are often provided in not only that familiar PDF format, but more and more of our publishers also provide us with an EPUB format. Digital rights management ebooks, there is a growing number of these available as EBSCO ebooks. As you are probably aware, with DRM-free titles, you do not have to have any additional software, nor will users have to sign in to download any part of an ebook. We will now go over to a live demonstration. For the purpose of this demo, I will be using one of our EBSCO ebook academic collections to demonstrate. The functionality that I cover will be available in any EBSCO ebook title. Also, if you have an EBSCO Discovery Service, functionality will be exactly the same on that as well. So let's run a search for risk management to see which titles are returned. So as our results are returned, they are currently ranked in a relevancy order. You do have the choice to change that. For example, if I wanted to look at the newest titles that were available to me, just below my search box, I also have some filters available. As an example, if I want to look at any titles that I have over the last 5 years, I can very quickly narrow down this way. To see the full range of limiters available, we simply click on All Filters. And then I can pull search by a particular subject area. Also, if I have a publisher of choice, and I also have some other options such as language and categories. So once I apply, I now have my result on screen. Now I can see the title, I can see the beginning of the abstract, the subjects that are assigned to this particular ebook, where it was published, as well as the author detail. If I wanted to look at the complete details of this ebook, simply click on View Details, and then I have the full description as well as other metadata that is available to me. I can also see the publisher permissions for this particular title. So I can see I am able to download 100 pages per session. I can copy and paste. However, this particular title, I am unable to download the ebook to my own device. Now, to read the ebook online, I can click on Access Options here, and I have the choice of EPUB or PDF. That will then open up within your browser without any browser extensions required. Down the left-hand side, I have the table of contents, which I can expand and jump to any part of it. And if you remember, this publisher allows us to copy and paste. So I can simply highlight some text and I can copy that text. I can also add a quick note to that as well. Now, going back to the table of contents, if you see this icon, it means you can download part of the ebook without having to log in. As an example, if I click on the icon here, I can see that I have the ability to download this particular chapter, and that will now be stored on my machine as a PDF. Returning to the record page, you can see you have other tools available to you. Again, we have that option to save the entire ebook to our folder. You have a citation option. Now, with the citation, I have all of the popular formats such as Harvard, and I can copy that directly to a clipboard. You also have an export function if you use any of these export managers. You have the ability to add it to a project, which we will come back to in a moment. I can also share this ebook by clicking on share. I have a couple of options. I've got Google Classroom. I can also create a permanent link into this ebook, so you can see that here, a durable URL. I can simply copy that to my clipboard. And I can download the metadata from this ebook in various formats as well. The tools are also available within the ebook. We've got all of those tools that we looked at, as well as, and you also can run a keyword or a phrase search within the ebook as well. This time, to carry out our search, we're going to use the advanced search option. As you can see, we have 3 search boxes, Boolean operatives available, as well as certain fields we could narrow down to. Let's run a search for business communication, and this time we will select subject terms for that, and leadership, and we would like that in the title of the ebook. Now, I can also, at this stage, I could narrow that down so I only see titles from the past 5 years. As before, our results have been returned, and by clicking on the access details, I can see that this particular title is available in EPUB as well as PDF. So this time we will open up a PDF version. And of course, as I'm using a desktop, it will not look too different on screen. Now, once I've opened up the ebook, if I click on the details icon, I can see my permissions that are available. So we can see this particular ebook is available for us to download. And I've got my 100 pages that I could print, email, or save, as well as that copy and paste option. So this time, let's download the ebook by clicking on ebook download. I can see that I have the ability to borrow this up to 7 days, which incidentally will be set by the library administrators. And I've got my 2 formats that are available to me. And as long as I have Adobe Digital Editions or an equivalent reader installed on my machine, I will be able to download. We can now see that our download is in progress, as well as another useful link to Adobe Digital Editions, just in case we've not got that installed on our machine. Now, just before we look at that download, it's probably a good time to talk about the folders. Now, if you log into the service and you've not logged into your own personal folder, you'll be able to save your ebooks just through this particular session. However, to download your ebook, you will need to be logged into your own EBSCO host personalized folder. Now, to do that, you would simply click on My EBSCO here, and it will take you to a login screen. Now, if you do not have an EBSCO personalized folder, now that folder can be created in any EBSCO product, such as an EBSCO discovery service or another EBSCO database. If, however, you do not have one, you can see you have the option to sign in with something like a Google Gmail account, or if you click on sign up here, you have a simplified form where I can create a folder on the fly. So I need to fill out 3 out of the 4 options, consent to the privacy policy, and you can see a link to that here. And then we can have that folder created straight away. So once you have your folder, you have that ability to download like we previously did, but you can also, and just going back to the tools, which are also available on the results list, I can also create a project. So by clicking on new project, I can create my project folder, a couple of other options that are available to me. And also I have 300 characters of text that can be used as part of my description. So going into our folders, we can see we have an overview. I've got all of my projects that I have created, any items that I would have saved. I have my searches, anything that I viewed, as well as the ebooks that I have checked out. And of course, I can go into each one of these on a more detailed level by clicking on them here. So let's look at our downloaded ebook in Adobe Digital Editions. So I can see I now have offline access to this ebook. As it's a native scan, I have that ability to copy and paste again. I can add notes to it and also bookmark the page. So as long as that's in my library, I will have those notes and bookmarks available to me. Now, if I return to my main library page, I can see that I have that book for just under a day before it expires like the other titles in here. Now, let's say that I have actually finished a little bit early with this ebook. I can actually return it to the library by simply right-hand clicking on the item and then returning that borrowed item. So that has now been removed from my Adobe Digital Editions and returned to the ebook library. So before we finish up, a few links that I want to share with you. Firstly, if you're interested in finding out a little bit more about the ebook options that we have available at EBSCO, please visit ebsco.com. And you will be able to search for this ebook page, and it has lots of useful information such as certain collections, subject sets that we have available, as well as those access models and ways that you can actually order EBSCO ebooks. Of course, you can also talk to your EBSCO representative or your EBSCO support team, and they will be able to assist you. We also have our EBSCO support page, which is EBSCO Connect. And from here, you've got a search box. So, of course, you could maybe search for ebook downloads, and it's giving me some recommendations. You can also go to product help. You have a link to EBSCO ebooks here. You can see there is an extensive list, including things like a promotional kit, as well as some of those additional tutorials that you can use and share. And finally, if you go to our EBSCO Academy under Learning, and if you click Watch a Video, you can narrow your search down to eBooks, and there are plenty of videos that you can watch, share, and of course, embed should you want to. Thank you very much for attending this session. If you have any comments, feedback, or indeed if you have any other questions, please feel free to contact me on my email address listed here.